Hey, it's Adam X. Parsons here, Village Connection Radio. We're at Revolution Music Hall here. And we just had the first show of the Roast Battle, 2017 Long Island Roast Battle. We had a great show here, and I'm here with Allegra Barnett. Allegra, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Great, great. So, one quick interview for the website. I'll get it going. So, when I do my show, normally talk about comedy origins, like when you got into comedy, what made you want to get into comedy. So, how about yourself? What about your story?
I got into comedy over 10 years ago, and I started in the New York area, but I didn't start on Long Island. I'm originally from Long Island, but I started in the city. And I did it in the city for a while, then kind of went out to LA briefly, then I spent a bunch of years in Houston, Texas, back to LA. Now I'm on Long Island. Then April 4th, I go back to LA, so I'm kind of a nomad. But I started... I started in New York City, and then very soon after I began comedy, I got a job at Gotham Comedy Club because I figured, what better thing to do when you're starting doing comedy than get a job at a comedy club. But the problem was I was basically working as a hostess and a coat check girl, and I took up all my nights, so I wasn't really able to do comedy. So I kind of stopped for a while. But it was cool. I got to watch a lot of comics, got to meet great people like Jerry Seinfeld and stuff like that. And then I kind of eventually quit that job because I was like, I kind of need my nights. So, got back to it.
What was your first show at Gotham?
My first show was actually on Staten Island. Yeah, I was living on Staten Island at the time. I did a place called the Cargo Cafe. I did about 5 minutes, and I did great on my 5 minutes, and they had another venue called Nezerman, and they were like, well, you're awesome. We need you to do 7 minutes at Nezerman. I'm like, okay, I'm there. And then I was shitting myself. I'm like, how am I going to do 7 minutes? How am I going to do 7 minutes? Because at the beginning, like, every minute is like, it's hard, it's really, really hard. But it was great, and then I went to the next spot, and I just kind of, kept going from there.
And when did you go out to California? How long ago was that?
I've been out there for about 5 years, but then probably about, a few years prior to that, I was out there very, very briefly. So I've been in the LA area, and I do the Ice House a lot. I do different, LA rooms. Some of the major comedy clubs, but mostly independent rooms in that area.
Well, all the rooms you've done before, which ones are maybe some of your favorites you've done, either East Coast or West Coast?
Well, on the West Coast, I definitely like the Ice House the best. It's just the warmest room. It's one of those things. Like I was talking to, right? I know. The irony of the Ice House being the warmest room. Like Mike Keegan and I were talking about that before. How I've never had a bad set at the Ice House. And on the East Coast, I've had great shows on Long Island. I just did the Brokerage last Sunday, and it was fabulous. I do the city all the time. I lived in Houston, as I said, for 4 years, and that was one of the greatest experiences. I kind of ended up there by accident, but there's some fabulous shows there. I did some of the clubs have since closed, but the Comedy Showcase, which is now the Joke Joint Comedy Showcase, but I was mostly working there when it was under its original owner, Danny Martinez, who was a fabulous. I keep saying fabulous. Do you ever find yourself you sink into one word and just keep fucking saying that word? Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I'm like some 80-year-old gay man. All of a sudden, you're 2 wines in me, right? Jesus. But the Comedy Showcase was a very instrumental room for me because it was the first time that I was part of a regular road room. And I was doing regular MC gigs on weekends, got to meet national headliners, so that was a very, very important room for me.
As we wrap up here, just a couple of quick things also. So you're doing a lot of work in on Long Island, doing a lot of work in California, though, as well. And so a lot of people know that you're also working on Kevin Can Wait, CBS show. Let's talk about that for a couple seconds here. So how do you get started for you? How do you get into that?
It was amazing. I was working with Andy Fickman, who's the director of Kevin Can Wait, on a show called Liv and Maddie for the Disney Channel out in LA. I had a part on it. I played Jackie on Liv and Maddie, and I also had other roles, behind the scenes jobs on that show. And I knew Andy, and I found out that he was going to be directing Kevin Can Wait, and I knew it was going to be shooting on Long Island. I've been wanting to come back for a while to spend time with my family, and I spoke to him, and there was work available for me on that show, and it was so cool because I was going to be able to finally come back to Long Island, come back to my roots, come back to my family, and it's just kind of great because everything sort of came into one. My TV work, my comedy work, my family role, everything was sort of one. So it's a blessing. It's definitely a blessing. And Kevin's amazing. Kevin's one of these people. I look at him because we all have our goals with comedy. We all kind of want to get a little further on than where we are. And it's like, well, if I ever get to that point, I want to be like him. Because he pays it back. He pays it back to the people he came up with, and so does Andy, the director. I mean, he helped me out. He helps tons of people out. So it's just been such a great experience. It's a very, very warm show to work on. Yeah.
And last question I was going to ask you, I'm going to elaborate on what you just said, your goals. So where do you see this going right now? Where do you see yourself doing if it's not doing the stand-up or getting back into acting? So where do you want to see yourself end up, 5-10 years down the comedy line?
I love acting, but not one of these people that's in comedy as a way to kind of springboard myself into an acting career. I love comedy. I love stand-up first and foremost. I mean, that's a thing that I always loved. And growing up, I always loved, like, Dice Clay and Eddie Murphy and stuff like that. And there was this part of me that always thought that I couldn't do comedy because they were these cool guys and leather. I'm wearing a fucking leather jacket right now. It's cold out, okay? It's cold out. But, like, they were these cool guys, and I was such, like, a little dork, And then I heard Woody Allen's Comedian album, and for some reason, he was, like, this nerdy guy that was so funny, and he was doing stand-up, and it was Woody Allen's comedy album that made me feel like I could do comedy, And it's just... stand-up is just the purest form, And to me, it's almost the opposite. I feel like there's some people that do stand-up so that they can be TV stars. Me, it's like, yeah, I'll take acting work so it can at least give me enough recognition so that people will give me the privilege of performing stand-up. It's almost, the analogy I always give, it's like, they make you climb Mount Everest so that you have the luxury of climbing a hill. It's so fun. But I just, national headliner, performing at theaters, just being a respected comic. I love stand-up. I just feel like it's the most pure art form.
Well, Glean, hope working with you more in the future, and also Allegra at all the top comedy clubs here, as you mentioned, New York, California, hopefully everywhere in between too. So, okay, great. So again, it's Adam X. Parsons, Villa Connection Radio, Allegra Barnett. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you, Adam. All right, you're welcome.